I'm Dave from Device Doctors, and this is John, one of our local customers. John is our local evangelist. Right, John? You love Jesus.
Yes, I do.
So I'm going to explain to John why Apple is Satan's organization. So, John, this is my perspective of why Apple is Satan's organization. The symbol of the apple. Have you ever thought about it?
Never thought about it.
Never thought about it. Now you know the Bible, though. I mean, pretty good. You have a pretty good understanding of it and so on.
Yes, I do.
So in the first chapter of Genesis, there's Adam and Eve, and there's a tree in the middle of the garden, right?
Correct.
The tree of what is it? Of knowledge of good and bad.
Right.
And what is that tree normally symbolized as? Like what fruit are they eating from there?
They always symbolize in the garden as an apple.
As an apple.
But we're not 100% sure that it was an apple.
But it's the symbol of it, right?
But
so if you saw an apple with a bite out of it, what would you think of?
I never thought about it. But if I was to think about it, that could represent
the apple.
The garden.
Yeah.
In the garden. Correct.
So what did Satan achieve at that point? He achieved something. Adam and Eve were supposed to follow God, and by not following God, they followed Satan, right? They went against God. What's the motto of Apple? What do you know what their motto is?
I have no idea what.
You ever seen Think Different?
Okay.
So he introduced a different way of thinking that caused us all humanity to die because we thought different. We didn't follow God, right?
Mm.
So we have a symbol, right?
Mm.
That's an apple. You know, for Christ, they used the cross, right?
Mm. Correct.
Now, if Satan wanted to have a symbol that would show his success, wouldn't it be the apple? Isn't that his biggest triumph when he got mankind to die, to follow him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You can go with that.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Okay. So let's follow the line of thought. Let's just keep thinking about that. What else can make Apple, let's say, be part of Satan's organization? So we established that the apple has a symbolism,
right?
Okay, and we've established that even their motto, "Think Different," can be associated to what Satan has done. Let's look at other things about it. In Revelations, it talks about the mark of the beast, 666, right?
Correct. And
it says there's a comment in Revelation that says that the wise will be able to discern it in the last days and so on. And what does 666 symbolize?
The mark of the beast.
The mark of the beast.
Right. The devil.
And you need the mark of the beast to do what?
To buy and trade.
Okay. And where would this mark be?
Be on your forehead, and your right
arm, right? It could be your right
hand,
arm.
or the palm of your hand, or anywhere.
What if Apple is developing, let's say, a headband or glasses like Google or something? They already have the watch, right?
Right.
And you've heard of Apple Pay, right?
Never heard of Apple Pay.
Apple Pay is the ability to buy and sell using Apple as your payment mechanism. The same way they have Google Pay, they have Apple Pay type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be able to wear your watch and buy or sell, right?
Okay.
Okay, so
I never knew that, but okay.
So well, you can do that now. You can do it with your Apple phone. You have an Apple phone, don't you?
Yeah.
And you can turn on Apple Pay, so you can pay with your phone. And soon you should probably be able to pay with your watch. And in the future, they'll probably come up with some sort of headwear, and you'll have what would you have on your arm? You would have an apple, right?
Right. Correct.
Or you'd have the Apple logo someplace in your head.
Right.
And if that's the mark of the beast, then Apple is the mark of the beast.
It could be, but the mark of the beast, it could be implanted.
It could be, but
I don't know if that's specific.
We don't know if Apple's
logo was implanted.
Yeah, but
I don't know the Bible specifically says
it doesn't say implanted. People just speculate.
Right.
And I don't think they need to speculate. I don't think they need to implant an apple. I think the mark of the beast could be put on a watch, could be put on a headband, could be put on glasses. Now, Steve Jobs. Let's look at Christ as the Son of God and what he went through. Okay, Christ, went through his life until he got baptized. Then he went into the wilderness. Then he came out of the wilderness, and he pretty much knew what he needed to do to fulfill his, reason for life, right? Steve Jobs started with Apple, did the Apple IIe, had the Macintosh, and was thrown out into kind of a wilderness. Where was he? He had to go to Heath and Zenith, and he started Nest Computers, and he was gone from Satan's organization. And then he came back, and what did he do? They developed the iPod, and Apple grew to now the most powerful, richest company in the world. And unlike when Christ died, when have you ever seen people light candles and cry when a CEO of a company dies?
Never saw that before.
But with Steve Jobs, it was like the world was mourning. Yeah. Satan's son. What do you think about that?
Do I believe it's Satan's son? In a sense, spiritually it could be. Physically it can't be. I mean, spiritually it could be because he's not born again. And if you're not born again, you're not technically God's child in the sense that you're going to
he's not born
be
again.
with him or have a relationship with him. So in a sense, he could be classified as, in a spiritual sense, as Satan's son.
Okay. So, but he doesn't have to be born again to be Satan's son. He needs to be born again to be a Christian, right?
Right.
So we're not saying he's a Christian. We're saying that he fulfilled Satan's mission on earth, established Satan's symbol, and in the near future, we won't be able to buy or sell without an apple.
That could make sense. If Apple is the mark of the beast, that will make sense. Satan used him to push his whatever you want to call it, plan. Mm-hmm. So yes, Steve Jobs could, and Apple could be the mark of the beast, the way that you're explaining this to me. Do we know 100% that this could be the mark of the beast?
Have you seen a better mark than the apple to symbolize Satan's triumph over mankind?
No, I never saw symbols so recognized, like you said, and so blown up and huge as it is, as the apple is. And it's funny that it is an apple, and it does look like it was bitten into. I never thought about that in a way, I guess you could say it. So it's very interesting the way you explain that. I would have to look more into that with the mark of the beast and what it says about the mark of the beast. But Apple could very likely be, or very unlikely be, the mark of the beast. But if it is, toss your Apple phone out the window.
That's what you should do.
Good night.
Okay. Thanks for coming by to the shop. Take care.